it's Rachel from Autistic Lately. Today I'm going to share the story of my official diagnosis with you, and it goes all the way back to the beginning. I first realized I was autistic in late summer, early fall of 2023, and it all started with a video from Mom on the Spectrum. I didn't suspect anything about being autistic. My husband always called me autistic as a joke. He's a social worker and knows about these things, but I never really thought about it before. It was never a thing. So I just happened to click on a YouTube video from Mom on the Spectrum because it popped up in my feed and it seemed like it would be interesting. I'm always learning about different things, and I was just curious about it. And it was autistic traits in women. And I watched it and I was completely blown away. And I knew without a doubt that was me. So I went on this, frenzy of consuming content, videos on YouTube from autistic creators about autistic traits in people and women in particular, and learning how it presents differently. And it was completely fascinating to me to discover this, and so many aha moments were coming to me at all times throughout the whole thing. All these different pieces of my life coming together into one big picture that suddenly had a name, and so much made sense to me. It was exhilarating and huge and big and kind of scary. I just wanted to know more, and I wanted to embrace it. And part of that was, for me, this driving need I felt inside for an official diagnosis. So I didn't know where to begin. I didn't know anything about it. So I started exploring, of course, YouTube videos from my favorite autistic creators I had discovered. And I was reading comments and listening to videos, and there is a prevailing theme, it seems, that people will go to their GP and get referred out, and there are droves of people that wait years to even be seen, and then when they are seen, they are told, no, you're not autistic because you're making eye contact with me, or you can't be autistic because you have a job, or they're misdiagnosed as something completely different, or they're medicated with something that isn't necessarily the right thing for them. And it was just really scary to me. I didn't want to go through that because I had such a need to have this diagnosis, and I wouldn't want to. That just sounded so horrible to me. I mean, what a tragedy, So I felt horrible for all these people this is happening to. That's a lot of lives, and I couldn't do it that way. I needed something different. I'm so glad that I had that information armed. Once again, shout out to the YouTube creators that have educated me. It's invaluable and has been life transforming. And that's why I'm doing this. It has changed me, and I'm living this, and therefore I want to impart what I've been through to others, and I'm hoping that it can help somebody. So what I did was I went online and I started looking for an online assessment, and I discovered a place that immediately seemed right to me. I just felt it, in my heart, in my soul. It's called Grasp. And I'll put a link down in the description. And I wrote them an email. If I recall, almost immediately thereafter, I received word back from a very nice lady named Jane, who had me do a pre-assessment questionnaire. It was kind of a self-assessment type thing. It was just a bunch of questions, like a Google Forms type sheet that I filled out. And I sent it back, and she wrote me back and said, yes, we would absolutely be willing to do the assessment for you. And they have different packages available. So You can have, I don't remember them all, forgive me. And I'm not sure if it's all still the same on their website, but you could have just autism diagnosis simply, or you could expand it further, include coaching. You can have screening for additional neurodivergent diagnoses. The full package, which is what I got, was autism, ADHD, OCD, and PTSD. And it included a written report and coaching sessions. And I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go whole hog. I'm going to go all in, and I'm just going to do this thing. And I took some money out of savings. At the time, it was $1,900 and something. And it was in 2 payments. They required half up front and I think half at the first session because there is a waiting time. And it was a number of sessions online. So I did video sessions with a woman named Kate, a psychologist, and she was so wonderful. I was immediately at ease. I was really, anxious going into this. I had this fear the whole time that I would be told I'm not autistic, even though I had done all these online tests that say, yes, you are absolutely autistic. If you just go online and look for them, they're out there. I can't remember exactly what I took. I know that Yosemite Sam recommended one that I took, and there were others. I'm sorry, forgive me. I should have really documented all this, and I could probably go back through my history, and I might just do that and put together another video for people that are wanting to go this route. But at any rate, I knew that I have PTSD. I actually have what's called complex PTSD, which is a result of prolonged trauma. I scored off the charts with that, and I already knew that was a quality or whatever that I have. I learned that a few years back, about 5 years ago. I didn't know it, but I have had some repeated and long-term things that have really stacked up in my life. The biggest being 11 years in an abusive relationship in my 20s, and then some highly traumatic events that have left their mark on me forever. I will do a separate video on all that at another time. So at any rate, there were like 4 video sessions, I believe, with Kate, and they were spread out. And also, she sent me tests to fill out, to take. There were, I have my report here, and I'll tell you what they are, all the tests that I took. So the first thing we did was an interview. It was a psychosocial assessment, review of developmental history, and observation. She asked me a lot of questions, a lot of things that I was surprised at. Basically, a lot of questions about family and my past and my physical health, physical things. I wasn't expecting any of that. And a lot of really interesting questions. And then I didn't know this, but there was an IQ test involved. It was the Kaufman Brief Intelligence Test. And by the way, Mensa does not accept that. So if you're wanting to get into Mensa, you have to take a different test. Side note. Also, I took the ABAS, which I had a really hard time with. I could not grasp what it was they were trying to get me to say. Like the viewpoint of the whole matter. It was, I don't know. Like I wrote Kate and told her that I was having a really hard time with this test, and she was explaining to me that, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. It was like things that you do struggle with or you have struggled with. There was a certain like lens to look through with this test, and I just had the worst time with these questions. It was absolutely horrible. That was the one I had the most trouble with, was the ABAS. So the SRS-2 social responsiveness scale, CEFI, CEFI, which stands for Comprehensive Executive Function Inventory, the MIGDAS, which is Monteiro Interview Guidelines for Diagnosing the Autism Spectrum. Now, some of these things are things that she did just through asking me questions. And I believe that's one of them. I don't think I took anything called a MIGDAS. Adult ADHD Self-Report Scale, the ASRS. Brief Obsessive Compulsive Scale. Yale-Brown Obsessive Compulsive Scale, PTSD Checklist for DSM-5, and Clinician-Administered PTSD Scale for DSM-5. So let's see, I can tell you right now, some of these are listed as self-report. So I took the ABAS, the Social Responsiveness Scale, the Comprehensive Executive Function Inventory, and the Adult ADHD Self-Report Scale, the Brief Obsessive Compulsive Scale, and the PTSD Checklist. Those were all things that she sent me through email that I then completed and sent back to her. All the rest came through questions that she asked me through Zoom calls. It was all through Zoom. And then a brief emailing back and forth. She was very good about answering questions and helping when I ran into trouble, like with that notorious ABAS. And then the IQ test we did in real time online. She shared her screen with me, and that was really interesting. That was kind of fun. And then that was it. So then after all these things were completed, she gave me, kind of a verbal confirmation, saying, it's okay. I guess that meant I was going to get the results I was seeking. What I loved about GRASP is they're affirming. They're not trying to find a reason to deny you a diagnosis. I think that's where the whole upfront questions comes in, because they're not even going to go through this whole process unless they already believe that they're going to get a diagnosis at the end. So at any rate, I was very surprised about the ADHD. I was shocked, actually. But now the more I learn about it, absolutely. Again, I just didn't know. I didn't know what it meant, what it was about, what the implications are, the different types of ADHD, and what that looked like for me. And it's very interesting when you look at combining autism and ADHD together. I have learned that, there is some overlap, and then there are pieces of each that when you put them together, they kind of butt heads, which makes for an interesting brew. And then obsessive compulsive disorder. That's not what I thought it was at all. That was another one that was very surprising to me. That's a good one to research. I didn't really see much overlap. It seems completely different to me. But all this put together led to quadruple diagnosis. Right here I have this report. Let's see. It is 20 pages long. And it comes with a letter that can come to for your employer, and a letter for your medical record for your GP. And it was absolutely one of the best emails I've ever sent when I first contacted them. Having this diagnosis has been very, very, very good for me, and is carrying forward in ways that I never imagined. It's made an interesting shift at home. I'm married, and we've been married for 16 years, and it's been a very good talking point to resolve a lot of things that didn't make sense about my things about me or our communication trouble. That was one of the biggest things, the differences and things of that nature. So I would suggest, if you are really wanting that official diagnosis, I would absolutely contact GRASP. Now, last time I spoke with Kate, she told me that their wait list has gotten pretty long. I was very fortunate to contact with them when I did, because I got in right away. I was really, really, really shocked, actually, because I kept hearing that people wait years, which I don't even know how you go through that. And yes, my heart goes out to you, because that was a very, very, very anxious time for me, waiting and going through this. And then after my last Zoom call, okay, I could have sworn she said that I would have my written report in 2 to 3 weeks. And I literally checked my email like 5 times a day at minimum, probably more like 50 every day, looking for this report. And it didn't come for 6 months. So I think what happened is they've just blown up with people wanting a diagnosis, because there's so little resources out there, and word has spread about the kind of trouble people are having with obtaining that diagnosis by going to people that are, I don't know, I think it's a mixture of things from what I'm hearing and reading, ill-informed about presentation in adults and women in particular, adult women, and that could be a whole nother separate video about, the medical field and autism. In fact, I'm pretty sure I watched one by Yosemite Sam that was very comprehensive and good, at any rate. So that is the story of going through the actual diagnostic process with GRASP. It was very, very, very good, and I recommend them highly. Kate was very kind and patient with me through the process, and made what was very anxious not so bad to go through. So at that rate, I would have to say contact them and see what their wait list is like and get on it. I don't know if people tend to drop off wait lists. I'm a property manager and people drop off the wait list for me, but that's different. That's for an apartment. So I will leave the link down below. And I'm going to go ahead and start a series on, each one of these things and the implications they've been in my life. Each diagnosis and what I have learned from my reading and what I've experienced, what I am experiencing. And it's been really great talking to y'all. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'm happy to talk to everybody. It's been really great getting to know people in the autistic community. What a great find to be part. So very, very welcoming. At any rate, if you like this content, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.